Parshas Ekev. This is a shir adapted from the shiurim of Moriv Rebbe Moran Hagoin Reb Henach Leibowitz Zechet Tzaddik Levrocha. It says in the Pasuk Devarim Yud Aleph Pasuk Yud Beis. It says that Eretz Yisrael is so holy. It's Eretz Asher Hashem Elokecha Eini Hashem Elokecha Ba Mireishis Hashana Viad Achris Hashana. The eyes of Hashem is looking over Eretz Yisrael from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. That's the simple. Chazal see incredible things happening here, things that apply to our very lives, things that apply to our very lives. Very, very important halachos. Chazal say that when the pasuk says that the eyes of Hashem are on Eretz Yisrael, Mireishis Hashana V'ad Achris Hashana, Meireshis is spelled defectively. Usually, Reishis is spelled Reish, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Tzav, meaning the first of the year. Reishis Hashana. According to Chazal, they take out, the pasuk takes out no aleph in Meireshis, Mem, Reish, Shin, Yud, Tzav, which means pour, Rosh. And Chazal come along, the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, Tez Zayin Amid Beis, Omer Rabbi Yitzchak, Kol Shona Sherosha B'tchilosa, any year that's poor in the beginning of the year, Misasheres B'sofa, will be a year of prosperity at the end. The year will be a good year if the year begins with poor, with something poor betchilas. What does all this mean? Upireish Rashi explains, Sherosha betchilasa, that will be poor in the beginning. She Yisrael oisin atzmon roshin b'Rosh Hashanah. Any year that Klal Yisrael will make themselves into paupers on Rosh Hashanah, ledaber tachnunim utfila, to speak with supplications and prayer, Ki'inyin shenema, as it says in Mishlei, Tachanunim yedaber rosh. The poor person speaks with tachnunim, with supplications, with poverty. If that's the way he begins the year, like a pauper, Misasheres B'sofa, he'll be prosperous at the end of the year, as it says that Achris and Tikva sometimes mean there'll be a good Achris and Tikva, there'll be a good prosperity and hope. This seem to be the words of Chazal, and Rashi's explanation that if somebody davens on Rosh Hashanah like a pauper, I have nothing, I'm a pauper, I have nothing, Ribbon Shalom, help me. If that's the way he davens on Rosh Hashanah, he'll have a prosperous, good year. We still need more explanation. And the question maybe is, what does Rashi mean? She'oisin atzmon roshim b'Rosh Hashanah. They make themselves into paupers. I have nothing. Ribbon Shalom, help me. Rosh Hashanah, help me, I have nothing, I'm a pauper. And the question is he a pauper? What happens if he has $1 million in the bank? He has $1 million in the bank, and he makes himself into a pauper. In other words, he knows that the only way to accomplish something with tefillah is to make yourself into a pauper. I gotta make myself into a pauper. I'm making myself into a pauper. I really don't have anything. But he has $1 million in the bank. How do we explain that? And also, he's deceiving himself. If he knows that the Rebbeinu Shalom will help him if he davens like a pauper. So I'm pushing myself to daven like a pauper. But it's not true. It's not true. I have $1 million in the bank. Do Chazal want somebody to deceive himself so much? He's not deceiving Hashem. He's not saying, Hashem, I'm a pauper, even though he's not a pauper. But he must be talking himself into the fact that if that's the way to be helped, Ribbon Shalom, I'm a pauper. He's making himself into a pauper. Two questions. First of all, it's a lie. Do Chazal want the person to lie, Chas v'Shalom? And number two, even if he is, even when he says that, he can't get to the depth of his poverty if he has $1 million in the bank. So what is really going on here? Should he lie and deceive himself in order to be a pauper? Because pauper, when you're a pauper, it gets you somewhere in your tefillah to Hashem. Comes along Moron HaGoin, Reb Naftali Trop, Zeichat Tzaddik Livracha, and he explains this fascinating Rashi, which seems to have no meaning, and he explains it when Reb Henach, Zeichat Tzaddik Livracha, said over this Reb Naftali. He said it with such simcha because he felt that what Reb Naftali is saying is the emes. A baffling Rashi, but Reb Naftali Trop, Zeichat Tzaddik Livracha, hit it on the head with an emes understanding of what Rashi means. Rashi says, She'oisin atzmon roshin. They make themselves poor on Rosh Hashanah. But it's not true. He has $1 million in the bank. Reb Naftali says it is true. When you have $1 million in the bank on Rosh Hashanah, you can still be a pauper. Because on Rosh Hashanah they judge the person mi yei osher umi yei oni, who will be poor and who will be rich. And as each one of us stand in front of the Din Torah on Rosh Hashanah, it could go either way. It could be we will not be judged like we were judged the year before, where we had $1 million in the bank. Mi yei osher umi yei ani. Last year we could have had $1 million, but this year we may have nothing. And Reb Henach was with such simcha when he said this word, b'shem of Naftali, because it's true. When Rashi says she'oisin atzman, they make themselves into paupers, because it's true. We are paupers on Rosh Hashanah. Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses us to be Yei Osher, we are aniyim. We are all totally dependent on the chesed of Hashem, on what Hashem wants us to have. And this is what the Chazal seem to be saying. On Rosh Hashanah, we have to have in mind we're obligated to feel that we have nothing, because we really do have nothing. Until we are judged with Ashiris, we are Yei Ani, we are poor. And when a person is poor, Tachnunim Yedaber Rosh. When he speaks supplications, when he speaks with midos to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem will help. Tachnunim Yedaber Rosh. A poor person speaks with supplication. So we have from here an application to our daily lives. When it comes to Rosh Hashanah, we have to feel, when we daven to Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, please help, because we have zero. We have zero, and it's true. We do have zero, until HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges us, and it could be He judges us with Ashiris. But if not, while we're standing in the Din Torah, we have nothing, and that's the way to reach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tachanunim Yedaber Rosh. You can't daven to Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, help me, please, I'm a good person, and I do so many mitzvahs and everything. Help me, help me, help me. No. The way to daven to Hashem is I have nothing. I'm a pauper. A pauper davens harder. A pauper davens with all his strength and with all his might. That's the way a pauper davens. And that's the way we all should feel an obligation to daven on Rosh Hashanah. The Eibishter should help us. We should be zeicha to understand these words and to daven the way we're supposed to daven, with tachanunim yedaber rosh, and we will be zeicha to a gemar chesima tova, ksiva chesima tova, gemar chesima tova, lonu u'lechol Yisrael. Amen.